Hey, everybody. I'm Shelly Palmer. Welcome to the Strategy Hacker live stream. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day today. As always, as we get started, what I'm going to try and do right now is make sure that audio is awesome and that I am not absolutely killing it. So, yeah, it looks like it's peaking. Audio is so crazy in live streams. It's just nuts. Anyway, feels good today. Hope everybody's doing great. I see there are all kinds of people here from YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn Live. Fantastic. Even Twitch. Amazing. Hi, Twitch folks. This is crazy great. Twitch has been my high hill to climb, and we just literally haven't had a big crowd at Twitch. So I'm happy that everybody's here. Check in. Let me know where you are. I'd love to know where everybody is right now, and what the weather's like and what part of the world you're in, because I know everybody is everywhere. We are so lucky to have people coming in from all over the whole world, which is fantastic, and always a pleasure. Heldis from France, welcome. And wow, I see. Geez, wow, this is amazing. So thanks everybody. While we're waiting for everyone to show up and check in, let's do just a little bit of housekeeping today, just so we can sort of welcome everybody and say where we are. Hey there, Patty from Arizona, and hello, Heinrich from Chicago. Glad you're here. Welcome, everybody. Please check in. The chat is where this whole thing happens. This is an Ask Me Anything office hours kind of hour. Pardon me. We're going to cover a whole bunch of interesting stuff. Hey, Mickey, how are you? Kathy from Beverly Hills, welcome. Alexis from Florida, glad you're here. Wow, it's amazing that you're able to get the internet where you are. That's fantastic. I don't mean Florida in general. I mean where you are. That's wonderful. Justin from Kansas, welcome. And Jonas from Munich. So glad to have you here. Wow, Kate from Ohio, fantastic. So let's just have a little bit of housekeeping. Obviously, we're basically on YouTube Live. ShellyPalmer.com/live is a shortcut there, but we're also streaming on Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live directly. So I hope you guys are there. And again, anyone on LinkedIn, you are generally our most international crowd. So please let us know where you are. Hi, John from Idaho. How are you? Joey from New Jersey, the one, the only Joey Lewandowski. As you all know who are listening, I do not speak when Joey's drinking water. So I'm really glad that Joey is here. Welcome. Wow. Mackinson from Haiti. Welcome. And Robert, welcome from New York City. Glad everybody's here. Really so thrilled to have such a big crowd. It's always such an honor and a pleasure. We are, like I said, coming to you mostly from YouTube Live. If you're on YouTube, I would just ask if you could, if you feel like it, hit a like button, subscribe, and the little bell for notifications would be great on our live channel. I'd appreciate that very much. That helps the YouTube numbers. PGX, anyone listening today is immediately invited, and you'll find in the description, you will find a link to PGX. This is our private invitation-only social network. I see many of you here are already on PGX. I recognize so many of the names. Hi, Chris from Las Vegas, and hello, Richard Sellers from Saratoga Springs, and David Cutler. Welcome. PGX is, we've now exceeded 3,000 members. I think we're 3,014 or 16 or some number like that. And what's wonderful about that is that the level of conversation is fantastic. You can post news articles there. You can write articles of your own there. You can post your events. You can start a discourse, a Socratic dialogue, or just a rant, but a respectful one about almost any topic in technology, media, marketing, entertainment, health tech. Whatever it is you're into, you will find people on PGX who are either very interested in it or professionals in your subject as well, corporate peers and colleagues. It's really a wonderful place to hang out. I spend a little bit of time there every single day, and I am always delighted with the outcome. What I like about it the most is that people push back. We all have our opinions. We all take facts and we interpret them our own way. Our PGX people always push back. And I was trying to describe the difference between PGX and Facebook or a LinkedIn group or a Facebook group to someone the other day. And I said, literally on PGX, it's okay to say your work is idiotic or your work is dumb or that this comment is not very smart. You can't call someone a dummy. You can't call someone an idiot. You can make fun of what they do, And you can even be pejorative about it, but you cannot make fun of who or what they are. That is forbidden. And so no intellectual laziness on PGX. You have to keep that discourse high and go at the work. It's always open season on ideas at PGX, and it is never open season on people. It's our really it's our hope and our prayer for the way that civil, respectful, Socratic debate can be held on subjects that matter to all of us. So I hope you'll join. Again, the links are in the description. Christine, welcome from Santa Cruz. And wow, let's see. Wow, what a crowd here. Don Levine, welcome. Sana, it's been so long. We're so happy you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thanks for the kudos there, Chris Meyer. Appreciate it. As always, if you want to send me an email, please, Shelly@shellypalmer.com. That's my actual email. I actually read it and I will answer it. It is important to me to hear from you. The most important thing, really, we can't get better at what we do ever. We just can't get better at what we do without constructive, solid, real life criticism. So if there's something we can do that is real, you'll let us know. If there's something I'm doing that's wrong, or if I call something out that's wrong, or if you just want to chat, please, Also, this is a very difficult time for everybody, and I don't say this enough. We are very lucky to be running a robust and really solid tech strategy and solutions firm, and business has been very good for us, and we're doing a lot of outreach. But if things are tough, or if you need some help, or if you need introductions, or if you're trying to do business and you just reach out. We'll do what we can to hook you up. This is a pay it forward kind of time. I am very mindful of how difficult the times are for so many of our clients and so many of our friends and just people even that I don't know. Life is really tough right now. If there's a way we can help you out, you let us know. We'll do our very best to pay it forward. One of the ways we do that is 4 days a week. We do online networking salons. We had one this morning. They're from 11:05 to 11:30. Monday through Thursday. And on Mondays, we do education tech. Education tech is all things education, whether you're working with apps or K through 12 or college or postgraduate. We've got an incredible group of education professionals and technologists. So we get together, we talk about stuff that has to do with the state of education. Probably nothing is any more in flux than our education system right now, with so many kids working from home and studying at home. And there's a giant difference between online learning and online teaching. I think we got a lot of teachers that are pointing cameras at themselves and calling that online learning. But then there's an amazing group of teachers that we are aware of that are working in vMix and OBS and every kind of tool set. So many Google tools I see also where they're just using every possible technology to help their kids learn. And so anything we can do to help that happen, we like to help. And that group that gets together on Mondays in Education Tech is a great place where you can meet people who are similarly minded, who are trying to make the world a slightly better place through education. Hey, Seth Everett from Short Hills, welcome. Bob Sopko from Cleveland, Ohio, home of Case Western Reserve University. Outstanding. And Adriana, welcome from Vancouver, Washington. Oh my goodness, Jorge from Lisbon, Portugal. Fantastic. My favorite language in the world, Portuguese. Just such a gorgeous language. So many fabulous songs written in Portuguese. I could go on and on about my personal preference for Brazilian and Portuguese music. Let's see, on Tuesdays, we do Leading Edge Tech. Leading Edge Tech is pretty much anything you can think of that is on the cutting edge of technology, whether it's 5G, quantum computing, AI, machine learning, just continuous improvement and advances, innovation across the entire spectrum of technology, media, marketing, entertainment. Welcome from Seattle, Washington. I'm going to mess that name up. Eleni or... Yeah, it got to be Eleni, right? You'll tell me if I'm close. I'm doing my best. That one's hard. 2 L's. Don't quite have it right. Leading Edge Tech. So that's on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock to 11:05. On Wednesdays, which we did this morning, it's Health and Wellness Tech, Health Tech and Wellness Tech. That is a great group too. Really an extraordinary group. We have people from industry, we have people from healthcare, we have technologists, and we're talking about everything from the most practical to the most eclectic. It's a fun group. And if you are into health tech and wellness tech, it's a great place to meet people and share ideas. And then on Thursdays, back to my roots, we do technology, media, and marketing, which is really the prime focus of the Palmer Group. It's the things we do the most. And most of our clients somehow intersect with technology, media, and marketing. That is also a fantastic group of people. It is there's a lot of people from the television industry, and there are people from streaming. You get a lot of people who are in both the technology side and the content side. It's a really nice mix, bunch of marketers. So yeah. Now, all of you who are on chat right now, thank you for being on chat. I would just ask you to not only chat with me, but chat amongst yourselves. Sana, I don't know if Scott Moss is here. He generally is. I hope that he shows up. And Scott, if you're here, say hi. But if you are listening, please tell us where you are in the world. Tell us your name. Tell us where you are. Also, what you can do in chat today that we've never done before, and I'd love it if you guys did, was to say what you do. Like a one-line thing. You don't have to give up too much personal information, but just tell us what you're into, because that would really, really help. I think everyone in chat, the chats have been so robust, but I think it's easier, instead of just saying hi and what part of the world you're in, if you say hi and you tell everybody kind of a little bit about what you do or what you're interested in. And certainly if you have a question that you'd like me to answer, Joey is standing by. He's going to set them up here so that I can pull in a data stream and we'll be able to answer your questions. And the goal here today is to answer as many of your questions as possible. That's really what I'm into. Just a couple more things in the housekeeping side. Courses.shellypalmer.com. We got a bunch of free resources there for you. And you can find our latest trend report, and in fact, historical trend reports. They are downloadable free of charge. We've got the very famous P&G memo, our SWOT analysis. There's a couple things you can buy too, but ultimately at courses.shellypalmer.com, we use that as a repository for the resources we'd like you to have access to easily. So I hope you will take advantage of that. And we've also been pushing this idea of strategy hacker. It's a hashtag. We bought the URLs. We haven't put it together yet, but I think all of you are strategy hackers. That's what we really talk about. So speaking of strategy hacking, anything you guys want to talk about today, let me know in chat, because I'm staring directly at the chat, and I will trying to be as mindful as I possibly can of the things that you want to talk about so I can answer your questions. Oh, I love the fact that everybody's putting in what they do in chat. That's fantastic. Yeah. Wonderful. So welcome everyone again, and thank you for joining me on Strategy Hacker live stream today. So there's a bunch of things I want to talk about, and as you guys are introducing yourselves to one another, and I know there's a lot of you here, so it may take a lot of time and energy for you guys to get that done, but I really think it's important for all of you to meet each other and also, to interact with me. I'm very, very excited to answer all your questions. We have a great question that just came in just now from Richard S., who is asking about comments on Google paying UK publishers for news and content. This was in the news today, and it's kind of a big deal. Google was on the business end of several lawsuits on this subject. In fact, a lot of platforms are on the business end of lawsuits on that subject. So we find ourselves in a funny place. AMP with Google. As most of you know, I do a newsletter. You can subscribe to it at shellypalmer.com. In fact, I hope you will. And that newsletter every day is broken into two parts. There's a little rant at the top where I talk about whatever the top story of the day is and how I feel about it. And then we do a synopsis of the top, I'm going to call it 5 to 7, sometimes 8 news stories that have our attention on a given day. Things we think would be important to the people on our mailing list. This weekend, I wrote a blog post. This was the 9,100 somethingth newsletter that I've written. We're coming on the 25th anniversary of the daily newsletter. It's almost hard to believe. And the mailing list is huge. I'm not going to brag about the size, but the mailing list is gigantic. And I was just wondering, are we doing a good job? And so we asked some questions, and it's a terribly unscientific survey, because anybody who's likely reading the newsletter they still subscribe to it. People who don't like it just click on subscribe and they go away forever. So I don't know how scientific the newsletter was, but I wanted to know what was interesting. Was the rant interesting, where I just, spew my own little thoughts, my shower thoughts from the morning out in a couple 300 words, or was the curated news more important? Like, which was more important, and was it current events? Like, just what'd you care about? I'm telling you this because for several years, we let the newsletter be chunked up and parts of it went out, specifically the thought leadership pieces on Sunday, and about 3 to 4 times a week, the rant on Google News. And it's not hard to become a news source. You need to put out a fair amount of quality, what Google deems quality or discoverable, uh, credible news worthy stuff. I'm not quite sure how they determine what that is, but it was easy for us to get into the Google News feed as well as the Apple News feed and a few others. We've been doing it a long time. I've been known in the industry a long time. What did Google do to reward me for this? Did they send me traffic? No. Did they strip out everything and just put the text up? Yes. Did they basically profit from keeping you on Google and keeping you off of shellypalmer.com? You betcha. So if I employed, now this is just me writing, and ultimately it was promotional. We have not been in that, allowed our content into that system for the better part of it's probably more than 3 years now. Might be a little over 2 years. We haven't allowed our content on Google that way. And we also have been incredibly tight, if you will, about usurping things that strip things out. Like, we have surveys and we have forms and we have links. If you can't see the survey or the form, click here. We're having none of the we're not subservient to Google. If I was a publisher, if I'm New York Times, if I am anybody who sells to advertisers, if I'm anybody who charges a subscription, and Google were to take my content, surface it, and strip all my stuff out and basically just claim that engagement for themselves, I would go crazy. And that is the nature of the lawsuits in Europe. And that is the nature of the lawsuits, period. And to be fair and frank, Google's got a lot to answer for. Now, here's what's weird. There's a Google Discovery, and then there's the Google little answer box. I don't know if you guys have seen this. When you go search on Google, if you ask a very specific question, if someone's been clever enough to SEO the answer of your question in a concise way, that will show up in a box at the top of Google search results, and it'll be a link to somebody's web page or blog that answers your specific question as best as it has been answered based on the number of Google searches that have gone there and found it useful based on whatever algorithmic tools they are using. Winning that box is really helpful. You can win that box. It's fun to get your organic search results onto the first page, and it's fun to get your organic search results to be top of the Google search results. It's way cooler to have your answer to somebody's direct question be surfaced in that box. And then there's the whole Google Discovery thing where you can really get some traffic because Google has figured out that you've got an answer to something that helps them. These all have to go into the alchemy of, do we love or hate Google now? And is Google supposed to pay or not? And then the question becomes, when they say they're going to pay major news organizations, if you do great original content that answers questions and wins boxes, like wins the Google answer box, should they pay you? So where's the line? What is citizen journalism versus journalism? Are they going to just, that's why there's laws and the lawsuits I actually have a lot of trouble with. I'm trying to figure out my own head. Well, do we get to queue up to get paid? I answer a lot of questions. We win a lot of boxes on a lot of questions. Do I get to queue up? And do I want Google to pay me? And would that money ever matter? Ever matter? So that's what that lawsuit's about. And that's where Google is trying to figure stuff out. And I think this is open for debate. It just is open for debate. And I feel like it's the right question to ask Google. There's another question I think everybody here needs to also put into this crucible of things we're cooking to ask questions with. When do you cross the line from needing promotion to needing income? At a certain point, you're not known, right? You're new, or you are just not the biggest in your field. You're not the most serious in your field. And when you win the box, or if you surface in a search result higher, or if someone is exploiting and your content, your content goes viral, you actually want to thank them because they've just put you on a map you otherwise could not have gotten on. But if you're on that map full time and that's how you earn your living, and someone's still doing that to you, like, where's that line? It's got to be different for everybody. If your business model is to profit from the content as opposed to profit from the celebrity or profit from the awareness, right? If you sell merchandise and tour, do you care if your music is free? If you sell downloads, you care. So in one respect, you want everyone in the world to hear your music. The other respect, you really need to get paid for it. And more people will hear it if they don't have to pay for it. But at a certain point, if they don't buy your merch or come to your tour, then when you're out and about, then how do you earn a living? How do you feed your family? What do you do? And these are the real questions that you really, really need to ask. And I don't think that the Google lawsuit answers that question in any meaningful way. And I'm not sure that it's not so different for everybody that we don't need to ask that question differently for every organization. And to me, it's a big deal. Wow, chat is getting beautiful here. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for the kind words about my ranting on during the day, because I do appreciate that. And by the way, if you got an opinion about the newsletter and you're a subscriber, Sunday's blog, there's a survey. I think the title of the blog is this valuable, with a question mark? And I asked a serious question. Like, we'd love to do a better job. We'd also love everybody here, not only to subscribe, but to make everybody else subscribe, right? You call everybody and ask them to subscribe. Let's shout it to the rafters. Let's look at another question real quick before we move on here. Let's see what we got. I got to look up here. Even though B2B CEOs talk about the need for strategy, their focus is tactical and only 12 months out. Is strategy dead? Oh my God. You must have been on Zoom with me earlier this morning. That is unbelievable how how present that question is. Wow. Thank you for that question. That's amazing. I'll give you my standard answer, and the new standard, not the old standard, the very, very new standard answer. There was a time in my youth where I would look at a CEO who was focused on earnings calls 90 days out and say, look, you really have to think about innovation. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm famous or infamous for a quote. Today, you're experiencing the slowest rate of change you'll ever experience for the rest of your life. And I've seen that show up in a lot of places after I said it. And I said it at a meeting at Unilever years ago, and they put it on the wall, and a couple of people blogged about it. And somehow that became like associated with me, and which, I mean, rightfully so. But the CEOs that I deal with, they get earnings calls. Our clients are mostly publicly traded companies. The logo well speaks for itself. Here's the answer to the innovation question and the 12-month out thing. It's not 12 months out. It's 90 days out. It's next earnings call. And what I have learned over the years is that there's a balance between what you can do from an innovation perspective and an adaptation perspective and making your numbers. Everybody has to make their numbers, because the CEOs who are my clients, I love them and I support them. They won't be my clients if they don't make their numbers for 3 quarters in a row. So someone investing in the future at the expense of the present for a publicly traded company, that's really hard. Now, Jeff Bezos was very lucky. He was gifted by his shareholders the lowest cost of capital of any publicly traded CEO I think I'm aware of anywhere, ever. For years and years and years, Amazon didn't show a profit. He would tell everybody, we're reinvesting in Amazon, we're reinvesting in infrastructure. That's what he did. And they believed the story and they all bought into it. And look where Amazon is today. But most public companies don't get that kind of leeway. And most public companies now, the older ones, are not considered growth companies. And there's a pretty significant set of statistics about the S&P 500. And I've done some writings on it, and you should just go on Google and look at the length of time that companies are staying on the S&P now. It used to be a long time. It's not so long now. They're saying you could have companies that are on and off that index in 10 years, 15 years, very soon. Wow, useful life of a corporate entity, 15 years. What causes that? What are the forces of the universe that cause that? What is accelerating the life and death of corporate entities? What is accelerating that level of inability to adapt? And so the short answer to your question, which is the long answer to your question, is got to make your numbers. Innovation is critically important. You cannot in any way be pejorative or critical of someone who is very focused on making their numbers. What you need to do as a good worker, a good innovator, a good strategist is to say, look, we've got early signal detection about these things. This is what's new. What's next? We can't tell, right? There's an infinite number of things that will never happen, but there's a finite number of things that will probably happen. We can call those the probable futures. So where there's a range of probable futures, they sit out in front of you, and you're going to score them in their likely, on some kind of like, are they likely to impact the business you're working with? And how significant will it be? Is this an architectural disruption coming? Is this a radical disruption coming? Is this a continuous improvement? Like where does this thing sit on the danger scale? And you're going to take a set of bets. You can metaphorically look at it like playing craps if you know the game. You could play 55 across the numbers. You're going to bet every number at a percentage based on the odds that those numbers will show up. 55 across. Look it up. I'm not going to teach craps here today because that's all I'll do the rest of the hour. It's one of my favorite games in the world. So if you're buying numbers, I know Chris Myers is smiling right now. If you were to approach a strategy, an innovative strategy saying, here's my probable futures. I'm going to make investments against this kind of curve. It's multimodal, it's polymodal, it's bimodal, it's a normal distribution. This is how I'm thinking about the future. With the discipline that numbers must be met every quarter and you've got a story to tell. So unless you are clairvoyant and you are 100% sure of the future, which I've never met anyone who is, and you don't need to hedge, you're going to just take a bet and you're going to say, I am right, we got to march forward. That's what a visionary does. That's what a pioneer does. I am reminded of two metaphoric images I can put in your head for that. One is the cliche saying, you know who the pioneers are? They're the ones with the arrows in their backs. That's that's what you hear often, the saying. I like to think about it differently. If you remember the very, very beginning to Indiana Jones' Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indy is going into this long cave and he is going to steal the golden monkey head. And on his way through this labyrinth, he encounters all of these booby traps and there's just dead bodies laying everywhere. That's the road to chasing a singular golden monkey head of technology. You could be Indiana Jones. The odds are it ain't going to work out. Just play the numbers. So the smarter strategy, and strategy is far from dead, and modern strategists and what we do at our company, what you should do at your company, is we gather as much data as we can. We evaluate and curate that information as best we can. We go cross-discipline. We promote diverse opinions at the highest possible level because the wider the set of opinions are and the wider and the more diverse the group is, the more likely you are to understand the various points of view and put them all into this sort of decision matrix. You lay out a set of probable futures. You sit with leadership and you say, look, this is what we see coming. These things we think are on the fringe and we can ignore them for right now. These things are closer in. Here's a few that any one of these could come and bite us in the butt. And you just have to be a little lucky too, right? You also have to, something's going to come in that you didn't see and there's nothing you can do about it. That's the stuff, those events could happen, but you can't worry about them because if you could see them, they wouldn't, there's nothing you can do about that. But you want to make sure, as a mature, solid strategist against any business problem, you thought that through hard and you've laid out a range and you've covered your bets. And that's the way that I approach it. Strategy is never going to be dead. The strategy is stay alert, be serious about what you're doing, be disciplined about it, make your numbers. Like, just, this isn't, leave the visionaries. Startups make it, they don't make it. For every Steve Jobs, there are 100,000 people who are basically bankrupt. For every Beatles, there are 25,000 bands you never heard of. This is just the nature of the world we're in. We always hear stories. We read books. We see TV shows. We watch movies about, the underdog, the unlikely hero. It's a cliche plot line. Yeah. Oh, they didn't have superpowers. They were right. We all want to be right. You know what? You want to be right? Give yourself the highest number of at-bats. With the widest possible range of options for success, hedge properly, invest with as much discipline as you can, and be able to hold two opposing thoughts in your head at the same time and cut your losses early. Those are strategies. Strategy is far from dead. In fact, it's the farthest from dead it's ever been. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of strategic thought. I'm a big proponent of Socratic dialogue. I really, really, really like it when people push back and call BS, whether they're right or wrong, whether I agree or I don't agree. I like the dialogue. I just do. It helps, and I think people who who don't do that, they're poorer for it. Yeah, you just are. You're just poorer for it. I want to just do a quick sort of self-serving promo break for 1 second. This is our summit that we did at CES, and it's online, and you can get there. It's all free of charge. It's all available to you. And I hope that you will just go to ces.shellypalmer.com, which would be here. And what you can do is download for free or watch streaming for free any of these speeches, and I think you'll enjoy them. They were fun to make, and while we're on the subject of things you can go and get that are free of charge, this is also free of charge. It's at courses.shellypalmer.com. It's our Trends and Insights report from this year. We just did it, and I think you'll enjoy this. This is kind of a strategic framework, pardon me, a way to think more than it is anything else. A lot of stats are in there, but nowhere near as many as usual. So yeah, that's free, and I hope you'll get it. That's at courses.shellypalmer.com. All right, let's read some questions here. Wow, look at this group. By the way, what a big group. Thank you all so much for being here, truly. And I love the fact that you're all talking amongst yourselves. I'd love it if you will ask some questions. I see Robert has a question here. Let's see if we can understand this question a little bit. LinkedIn, thoughts on its changes and how to continue to use it as a marketing/branding tool. LinkedIn is a fascinating place. Their strategy, speaking of strategies, is to map every job in the world. That's what they want to do. They want to map every job in the world, literally know where every job is filled and open. And I think they've got the tool set to do it, which is, as it's impressive. I find LinkedIn incredibly difficult as a marketer for a couple of reasons. And I think I speak for everyone. When I accept you as a friend or as a contact in LinkedIn, you really you really should have pardon me, you really should have come with more than, you have a very interesting profile and I thought I could do business with you. I ignore all of it. I have 413,000 LinkedIn followers or some number like that. It's a giant number of LinkedIn followers. Those followers don't mean anything. You can't get to them. I post stuff, 3%, 5% will be exposed to whatever I'm posting on a given day. It's a very low percentage, lower than LinkedIn, lower than Facebook, and Facebook and LinkedIn have very low percentages. So your follower count doesn't matter. Your contact list doesn't matter either. They don't really, I think I have 20, 30,000 contacts on LinkedIn. Doesn't matter. How do you use LinkedIn? LinkedIn has a paid version. They've got their sales tools that you can pay for. There are people who are very good at that, but cold calling, just willy-nilly going out on LinkedIn, like all that organic stuff, whenever you take a course on how to leverage LinkedIn for free, it's like, stop it. Don't do it. Don't even bother. If you're not selling a commodity that's a door-to-door commodity, if you're selling a scarce resource like your own talent, if you're selling a scarce resource like a service that's relatively expensive as opposed to something that is completely commoditized that you can buy anywhere and your differentiator is either price or service, which still may be a great thing, but it doesn't, you can't cold call on LinkedIn. It's not, you can't spam people on LinkedIn. And since that's what mostly everybody does, it becomes a cluttered wasteland of dumb stuff that you just don't pay attention to. In fact, I find it very difficult when people who I know and like will try to message me on LinkedIn as opposed to, and I'll put it up just now, you want to reach me? Shelly at shellypalmer.com. You got something to say it there. And I'm not that hard to find. Neither is anybody else if you work a little bit on it, right? You're no more than a few phone calls from anybody in the world. You know somebody who knows somebody. Do you have something of value you want me to do? Do you have something of value to show me? Do you have something that will enrich both of us? Do you have an opportunity for me? Do you have a service that will increase my productivity? Do you have a service that will increase my ability to do something that I want to do? And do you know enough about what I do for a living? Do you actually know enough about what I do to open with that? Want to know the most successful emails I've ever sent in my life? They all start like this. Person dash. Do you have 3 minutes for an idea that I think will make you $250,000 tomorrow? Not kidding. Let me know when we can chat. Or a variation on that is so-and-so. I've been thinking about your company really hard. Something just came across my desk. I think I can increase your share price by a couple of points. It's literally going to move the share price. You have 5 minutes to talk about it. I've never had that email take more than a half hour to get answered. No one's ever said no. When you get on the phone, Zoom, back in email, but usually it's a phone call. When you get on that call, when you get into that meeting, if you don't have it, that will be the last time you ever send that email. It'll be the last time you ever get that meeting. So this is ammunition you use when you've got it. Do you have it? Because if you do, I can't wait to meet with you. I can't wait. What do you know about what I do? What do you know about what your sales prospect does? What are you so sure you can sell them that's going to change their life? Why do you want 10 minutes of my time today? Do you think saying that you looked at my profile on LinkedIn and you thought it was cool, so you wanted to reach out and be part of my network? Seriously? What? Like, who thinks that's a good idea? Would you respond to that? Groucho Marx said it best. Any club that would have me as a member, I wouldn't want to join. You're reaching out because you think I'm cool. Great. I think you're cool too. I'm doing business here. I don't have time to think you're cool. Do we have a passion point together? Are you a fly fisherman? I'm not, but is that what I do? I always use fly fishing. Do you like to, I don't know what, are you, whatever. Are you into Peloton? Are you like, I don't care what it is. Do you know me from somewhere? Some of my business contacts and I are on MyFitnessPal together. We're friends on MyFitnessPal. I'm not going to name drop. They are very famous people who you would not expect A, to be on MyFitnessPal, or B, to want me to know that they just burned 140 calories on a treadmill or they just lost a half a pound. But because I've been fighting with my weight my whole life, and because I've been fighting with my weight my whole life, and some other people are too, and I know who they are and they know who I am. And we happen to be on MyFitnessPal, which in a weird way is a social network. And would I ever say to somebody out of the blue, meet me on MyFitnessPal? No. Would I ever hustle somebody there with something that's unrelated? So if you've got something that you are going to offer somebody that's going to increase their productivity or going to help them do their business better, or you've got a better mousetrap that you know is a better mousetrap, take the time to research that person, given a choice. And you might use LinkedIn to do it. We went to the same college. We worked at the same company. My mother was the chief cook and bottle washer at the company you built for 15 years. I mean, that's where LinkedIn is gold, because everybody's resume is there. And you can also search it brilliantly. And if you pay for the premium version of LinkedIn, you can really get some very detailed searches going there. So if you've got a thing and you say, well, who do I know? Who's in common? Like, you start with the strategy that you're going to leverage LinkedIn to help you get the little edge above the other salesperson, the other corp dev person, the other biz dev person who's using LinkedIn. But don't start like spamming the crap out of people and just going into LinkedIn Sales Manager and hitting everybody. Because I want to tell you something, that is the least effective way to use that, and it is the most common, least effective way to do it. Hello from Nigeria. Welcome. Wow. LinkedIn guys, we love you. This is amazing, from all over the world. And Twitch people, thank you for being here today. You are making me so happy. I can't tell you. So one of the things that went on this week that I want to talk about for a second is I'm pretty sure I am the least likely TikTok star that ever lived. And I'm saying this with tongue firmly in cheek. I'm not really a TikTok star. But I have had some incredible success, ridiculous success on TikTok in the last little bit. And I want to show you guys a video that put me on I want to show you my claim to fame. I actually want to take 60 seconds of your time and show you what has made me a TikTok star. Why is Pornhub doing a better job checking user identity and moderating content than Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and almost every other social media platform? Well, back in December, the New York Times accused Pornhub of profiting from child exploitation, revenge porn, and other illegal content. To its credit, Pornhub immediately banned all uploads from unverified users, blocked video downloads, and removed millions of videos from its platform and other properties owned by its parent company. Now, to upload a video, you need to be verified by Yoti, a third-party secure digital identity company. Is there a lesson here for big tech? No one knows who anyone really is on Twitter. We assume that TikTok users are posting videos of themselves, but anyone can repost and revise anything on TikTok. And Facebook has stricter requirements to create a profile, but it's super easy to game the system. Should big tech follow Pornhub's lead? Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. All right, there you have it. All right, there you have it. So this is my TikTok handle. It's Shelly Palmer 5. This at last look had over 313,000 views, and it picked me up 30,000 likes, and it picked me up about 6,000 followers. It was it was insane. The other TikToks I have that have, 20, 30, 50,000 views, 80,000 views are all me bashing things. Like I bashed Wonder Woman when the movie came out, and I mean really bashed it because I thought it was terrible. And that got a ton of views, 80, 90,000 views. It seems in the world we live in, the more pejorative and more negative you are, the better you do. I may want to write a book about that sometime in the future. But right now, what I want to talk about is the actual subject and substance of that TikTok, which I also put on LinkedIn and Facebook and everywhere else. So it's not like it was just on TikTok. So everybody knows that in December, the New York Times wrote this article about Pornhub and went at them hard. super hard. Yes, sex does sell, Jonas. It really does. Um, well, two things. Before I get into this, there's something I did learn about TikTok that I think everybody here would benefit from knowing. If you look at the comments on Facebook that I get, or the comments on LinkedIn, or the comments on Twitter about a video like this, all of us here, we might be Republican or Democrat, red state or blue state, but at the end of the day, it's kind of an echo chamber. We all kind of talk to ourselves, and God bless all of you for being here. I don't know how to tell you how much I appreciate every one of you, the comments and the criticisms, but also just the fact that you're here. I mean, it's amazing to me. But on TikTok, I am afforded no such love. This is the most diverse group of people from every economic strata from all over the place. And do yourself a favor. It's Shelly Palmer 5 on TikTok. And this is not because I need you to go to my profile, but go to this profile, go to this one thing. It's like from February 4th is the day. So it's 6 days ago. You read the comments. Read the comments. They are... Look, there's stupid ones, to be sure. There are the dumbest comments ever, right? I mean, and there's nasty stuff too. I mean, super nasty stuff. But then there's this incredible range. Like, you talk about diversity. This doesn't happen on Twitter. It doesn't happen on Facebook. It doesn't happen on LinkedIn. It doesn't happen on Instagram. Not for me. Never this range of comments. Everything from go away old timer, which is the nicest way I can say that, to spot on. Yeah. The dumbest stuff to profound, and everybody does it in 150 characters. The algorithm at TikTok, once something takes off, and yes, Jonas, sex sells, and there was some clickbait in the title, and it's not like I don't know how to do this. I do. So I can write a clickbait headline with the rest of them. And yes, I am trying to explore the TikTok world a little bit. I watch about a half hour a day, sometimes an hour, and love it. But I'm telling you, go look at the comments on that thread, or any of the threads, to tell you the truth, because they are all equally interesting in their diversity. And that, like I said, there's a lot of people who just, kind of curse you out and make you feel bad about yourself. And if you're somebody with a thin skin, it can make you sad. There's just as many people who just blow smoke also, and then that makes you happy. That's good for you too. Different place, TikTok, really interesting. Now, back in December, New York Times writes this article about Pornhub, says, hey, they're benefiting from child exploitation and pedophilia and child pornography and on and on and on. I gave them a little extra credit in this particular video. Look, MasterCard and Visa said, we're gonna cut you off. I mean, they were forced. And what they did in a couple of days is they deleted millions of videos. I mean, millions across, actually the whole organization did. Pornhub is owned by a company, the holding company, that has a whole bunch of porn sites, and they just went wholesale everywhere. Whole story is the revenue is down like 25% too. So like, this hurt them. This definitely hurt them. They just announced a partnership last week, which is what started this video, for me anyway, with where they hooked up this third-party company, Yoti, Y-O-T-I. I only know what I read online about Yoti. It's a identity company, and what they do is they use they take your government picture, photo ID, and face scan, and they compare them using some pattern matching tools, and they create a hashed, encrypted ID that says you're valid. And then they share that with their clients. So in this case, that would be Pornhub. Pornhub doesn't actually know who you are, but they know you are who you say you are. Then that you've been verified. That's cool. So the thesis of my little TikTok video, and you just watched it so you understand it perfectly, was, why is Pornhub doing a better job of identity than Facebook or Twitter or anybody for that matter? And I made the comment, and I stand by it, that Twitter is in the anonymity business. That's what they do. You're anonymous on Twitter. You could be a troll, you could be a bot, be an alter ego. You don't need to be real on Twitter at all. It's so easy to get. And truthfully, you don't need to be real on any of the social tools. They do some cursory ID work and some cursory double verification. Is it really that hard to get a Yahoo Mail account and a Hotmail account and set them up and then use a burner phone for the SMS ID? And is it really that hard to go on thispersondoesnotexist.com? That's one word, thispersondoesnotexist.com. Take a picture, use it as your photo. That person doesn't exist. They'll never show up again. It's a one-time existence. The thing was created by AI, no longer exists in the world. How hard? How hard is that? And now you've got a Twitter account. Go be a bot. Go be a troll. Be a troll bot army. If you know anything about headless Chrome, you can build complete armies. In fact, there is an article at shellypalmer.com, how to build a troll bot army. I'm not putting anything online that you can't find a million places. I just literally wrote out step by step how you code it, literally code it, just how you do it, because you can. You couldn't do it under this circumstance, though. Could Facebook get rid of millions of posts overnight? Yeah. Would you call it censorship? Yeah. Could Twitter get rid of millions of accounts overnight? Yeah, they do it on a routine basis. They try to clean house all they can, but they have no way of knowing if the real ones are really real. They just don't know. So this would make them really know. And that, I think, is worthy of real debate. Are you in the anonymity business or are you in the identity business? And if I'm an advertiser and I want to advertise on your platform, am I really interested in advertising to a bot? No. Am I interested in advertising to a troll? No. Even something that's just purely automated, like whether it's actually a bot that's going out and doing its thing, or I am uninterested in any of that. Yes, Aldo absolutely did it for survival. So Aldo Gagini, that is a fantastic comment. I want to put this up on everybody just quick look at Aldo's comment. He wrote, Pornhub did it for survival. FB didn't need to. I honestly would argue, Aldo, that I think Facebook might need to do it. I think they might need. This is what Aldo just said. Pornhub did it for survival. Facebook doesn't need to. I don't know if that's true. It was a 6-month boycott from major brands because of the hate speech adjacency. And all of a sudden, let's talk about it for a second. You've got streaming services from ABC, NBC, CBS. You've got Paramount Plus, which will be CBS All Access. Paramount Plus is going to become that March 4th. You've got HBO Max, doesn't take advertising. Let's think about the advertiser-supported ones. Peacock is advertiser-supported. Pluto will get rolled into Paramount Plus. Hulu has got some advertising. All of those are totally brand safe because they're television. They're digital. They go over the top. You've got first-party data coming back that an advertiser can use in a brand safe environment. Apple's about to come at Facebook with everything they have. This fist fight amongst giants, the Tim Cook, Mark Zuckerberg celebrity death match. Yeah, that's going to be serious. I don't think Facebook's going to come out on the right side of that one. So identity versus anonymity. I don't know. I really think that we're getting now the argument on the other side of that. No, I don't know, Aldo. Aldo asks, will they do it willingly? I think they're asking for regulation. But the people who, that's why I wanted you to go look at this Twitter thread, this TikTok thread, because on this TikTok thread, what you see there are people saying pretty loudly and proudly, I would never comment if I had to give my real identity because I would be shunned by my community, or I would be ostracized, or I would be threatened by the people around me. I found that really meaningful and profound because I remember from my youth going to religious school and learning, and also grade school, and learning about not only my own tradition, but the Puritans, who, when you did something really bad, you were shunned. And that meant you were ostracized from the community and you were put out and you were no longer able to benefit from the tribal benefits of your community, co-parenting and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody wants to be shunned. So that was a really interesting way to keep the thought police not being the thought police, but a giant sort of societal aggregated culture. It's another way to say thought police. Just call it culture. You don't like it when there's a big brother, but if it's everybody and you have to conform, sure, you can still be an outsider. You could still be a rebel. We have a 1960s rebel culture in the United States. We have it. There's songs about it. There's literature about it. We dream about it. We romanticize it. But in practice, small communities thrive when they're small. So I think it's an interesting conversation to start. Identity, like this is really me. I stand by my words and I'm accountable. I think there's a trial going on in the Senate right now about accountability. It's all it's about. Who's accountable? Where's the buck stop on what went down on January 6th? So accountability for what you write, accountability for what you say, accountability. I said this, I believe it. I sign my name to everything. I don't hide anywhere. But there were people giving valid reasons why they would. They were afraid to be ostracized. They were afraid to be shunned. They were afraid to be threatened. They wanted to be anonymous. They desperately wanted to be anonymous because that was the only way they felt safe. They couldn't speak their mind. And for every one of them, there was somebody who you knew just wanted to be anonymous because they wanted to be jerks. They want to say what they want to say because there are comments in that TikTok thread that nobody in their right mind would say to you face to face, not and expect to not have an altercation. This is the number one problem of our time. This communication issue is the number one problem we are going to face as human beings in the next 20 years. Who's accountable? Who's real? Who's fake? Who do you trust? Who's leading? How are they leading? How much privacy are we going to have? How much privacy are we going to have? Real privacy. Anybody see? I'm sorry I don't have it. I should have queued it up. There's a meme going around that shows from public location data that they probably got off of Foursquare or one of the other tools. All of the phones at the Trump rally on January 6th and the migration of the phones triangulated as little green dots going up to the Capitol building and in the Capitol. Clearly, the proxy servers knew exactly where the phones were. Every phone. If you had a phone on you and you walked into the Capitol building, your carrier knows exactly where you are and the location services tools know where you were. They just do. So if the FBI gets their hands on that and the IDs of those phones, they're not going to have to wonder who was in the building. They know who was in the building. It's child's play. Let's talk about that. Is that a world? That's a world we live in, not do we want to live in. We live in that world. We live in that world. The phone company knows where the phone is. A court of competent jurisdiction will issue a subpoena. Those records will be given to the FBI. End of story. That's what is going to happen. Accountability, privacy, thought police. These are real now. It's up to us. It's absolutely up to us. How are we going to deal with this? How do we want our world to look? These are big, big questions. They're big, big stories. And I hope that you will help me as we work through the answers. Now, you can join us at PGX as we described before. PGX is a great place. And again, in the description, you can find your link to PGX, your invitation. Please come. You know that we are going to have salons on Monday and on Tuesdays, Leading Edge Tech, and on Wednesdays, Health and Wellness. Tomorrow, we have technology, media, and marketing. You're absolutely welcome to join us there. I want you to send me an email, Shelly@ShellyPalmer.com, or DM me on Twitter @ShellyPalmer, or go to Shelly Palmer 5 on TikTok and follow me there. Get into that conversation. But this is important to me, and this I believe is going to be the most important thing we can all do together. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate every one of you being here. Thanks for the subscriptions. Thanks for the likes. I really appreciate it. But more than anything, thank you for spending this time with me every week. It is my favorite time of the week. And I look very much forward to seeing you next time. Everybody, please stay safe and take care. We'll see you next time.